Sunday, 7 p.m. You know the feeling? It isn't dread exactly. It's more like wait. The slow compression of the weekend ending, the quiet math happening in the back of your mind. How many more of these do I have left? You set your alarm, again. You lay out your clothes, again. You wake up, again. And somewhere across town, maybe across the world, someone else is asleep, still asleep. No alarm set, no meeting at 9, no inbox waiting to swallow them whole. Their money worked through the night instead. It paid for their groceries, their electricity, the coffee they'll drink slowly in the morning with no particular place to be. That's not luck. That's math. And today, we're going to do the math because there is a number, a specific, real number, unique to how you want to live that. Once crossed, makes punching a clock optional forever. Most people never find out what that number is, not because it's secret, but because no one ever sat them down and said, here it is. Here's what it actually costs to be free. Let's fix that. The why forget everything you've heard about retirement. We're not talking about waiting until you're 65. We're talking about something colder, more precise. It's called the 4% rule. But in this context, let's call it what it really is, the survival math. Here's how it works. Research, decades of it, shows that a diversified investment portfolio can sustain a 4% annual withdrawal indefinitely. The market grows. You take 4%. What remains grows again. In theory, the money never runs out. So the question flips. You stop asking, how do I save more? And start asking, what does my life actually cost per year? Multiply that number by 25. That's your freedom number. That's the amount you need invested in index funds, ETFs, a portfolio that quietly grows while you sleep before the math tips in your favor. Spend $40,000 a year, your number is $1 million. Spend $60,000, $1,500,000. Simple, brutal, clarifying. Now let's talk about what those lives actually look like. Level 1, the $2,000 a month life, freedom number, $600,000. This is what minimalists call enough. What Reddit's Lean Fire community would call a win. $24,000 a year. You're not rich, but you're not on the hamster wheel either. You live somewhere affordable, a smaller city, a low cost of living country if you're flexible. Southeast Asia, Eastern Europe, parts of Latin America where $2,000 a month makes you comfortable by local standards. Your apartment is modest, quiet, clean. You cook most of your meals. Your gym membership costs $20. You have a bike. Entertainment is mostly free. Libraries, parks, your own time. You don't own much, but what you own you chose intentionally. The trade-off is geography, flexibility. You probably can't live this way in London or Manhattan or Sydney, not comfortably. But in Lisbon, Chiang Mai, Medellin, you live well, $600,000. That's the floor. Level 2, the $5,000 a month life, freedom number, $1,500,000. This is where most people's freedom fantasies live. $60,000 a year. You can afford a comfortable one-bedroom in most mid-tier cities. You travel 2 or 3 times a year. You eat out when you feel like it. You don't calculate every purchase. This is the life that feels free. You probably own a used car, or don't, because you live somewhere walkable and take taxis when you need to. Your health insurance is covered. You have a small buffer for the unexpected. You buy the good coffee. You don't think about the price when you order at restaurants. You have a gym, a hobby with some cost to it, maybe a weekend trip each month. This isn't luxury. This is comfort without anxiety. 1.5 million. That's what buys you out of the paycheck cycle at this tier. Level 3, the $15,000 a month life, freedom number, $4,500,000. Now we're talking about a different kind of freedom. $180,000 a year. This is the life where geography stops mattering. You're comfortable almost anywhere, New York, Paris, Tokyo, Cape Town. You don't research the neighborhood before booking. You just book. Your home is designed, not decorated, designed. You hired someone who knew what they were doing. You fly business class on longer routes. Not because you need to, because you can. And the math still works. Personal trainer, good wine, regular travel, some version of private education if you have children. This is where you stop thinking about money as a governor on decisions. The veto power the price tag has over your choices, it goes quiet. $4.5 million. That's the number for a life most people would call elite. Now, and this is important, notice that going from level 1 to level 3 only multiplies the cost of living by 7.5 times. But the feeling difference? Between biking to the farmer's market and flying business to Tokyo? The feeling difference is almost incomprehensible, which raises a dangerous question. Here's the part no one tells you. There are people who make $40,000 a month who feel more financially trapped than someone living on $2,000. Think about that. It has a name, lifestyle inflation, and it doesn't creep. It teleports. You get a raise, you get a nicer apartment. The old one feels wrong, now the ceilings are too low, the neighborhood's too loud, so you upgrade. New apartment means new furniture to match. New furniture means the old car looks embarrassing in the building's garage, so you lease something newer. You're making more money than you ever imagined. And somehow, you're more dependent on next month's paycheck than you were 3 years ago. Every raise built a new floor, a new baseline for what acceptable feels like. This is the trap. Because every dollar you add to your lifestyle, you've added $25 to your freedom number. A $1,000 a month lifestyle upgrade dinner out more often, a nicer apartment. A car lease adds $300,000 to the amount you need to never work again. $300,000 for $1,000 a month of habit. The highest earners in the country fall for this. 6-figure salaries, 7-figure salaries, golden handcuffs. They're not free. They're just expensive to cage. The people who actually escape, they make a different choice. Not deprivation, intention. They decide what their life is actually supposed to feel like. They draw the line. They stop letting income dictate spending and start letting values dictate spending, and every dollar they don't inflate becomes a dollar working for them instead. The math doesn't care about your ego. It doesn't care about the car in your driveway. It only asks one question. How much does your life cost? The lower that number, the shorter the road. Most people spend 40 years trading time for money. They never stop to ask what they actually need. They never do the math. They keep moving the finish line forward, more comfort, more status, more floor space until the finish line disappears into the horizon. But the math was always there. 600,000. A quiet life, somewhere affordable. Free. 1.5 million. Comfortable. Present. Unchained. 4.5 million. Wherever you want. However you want. These numbers are not fantasy. They are arithmetic.